Welcome to the Rude Girl Treats CBD podcast series with your host, Aaron, featuring chocolatier Ande McNamara. And now, here's Aaron.
All right.
Hey there.
How's it going?
Good. How about you?
Is it going very well? Going very well. Glad to be here. I would like to sit back and relax a little bit more, but I feel like I have to
Should we readjust?
get right up on it. Well, I want to stay up on the mic. So, what's going on?
Not much. Yeah.
Everything good?
I've been wanting to have a talk about what I'm doing.
Yeah, you've got this new project.
Yeah, and you were like the perfect person. The more we talked about it, I was like, yes.
Well, thank you for considering that. I appreciate you saying that. No, I want to ask, because there are a lot of people out there that still are completely unaware of what CBD actually is.
Sure.
It's just not very clear.
There's a lot of confusion, and it's got a bad name because of it, because of the confusion. So CBD comes from the cannabis plant. So we all know the cannabis plant. Everybody thinks of marijuana, hence the bad connotations that have been associated with the CBD. The cannabis plant has sort of two things within it. It has the hemp, and it has sort of the marijuana variation, and they're very different. One is very high in THC, and the other is not. If there's any, it's very trace amounts, and when it's processed, it's pretty much flushed out. So the CBD is where there's a lot of the health benefits. There are CBDs in THC, in marijuana, so it's in both, but the highly concentrated part is actually from the hemp plant. And it can be processed either way. And so in states that have marijuana legalization stuff going on there, well, they're going to have CBDs with THC in it. Mm-hmm. Where in states where only CBDs are legal, like Texas, there's going to be no THC and just CBDs. So, for people that are unsure of it, I mean, it's actually super, super straightforward.
It's just 100% refined.
Yeah, there is zero THC in any CBD that you would buy in Texas.
And so as a result, there's no
psychoactive.
No psychoactive effect.
Zero psychoactive effect to it. And so it's just the health benefits, And
so nobody's experiencing any euphoria or any
and there's nothing you can do to
effects.
it to make it get, you can't go process it somehow, mix it with something, and that's not going to happen.
Right.
It's just the good side of it. And that the health benefits are there. It can replace drugs, and it's just got tremendous things to offer. And there's more and more they're finding out about this plant. There's a lot coming in the future that they're going to be kind of figuring.
So as I understand it, in the plant itself, I mean, there are many cannabinoids.
Yes,
but
they've identified like 400 and some odd so far. They know where many of them are located, and they're starting to figure out what they can do. Thankfully, because it's legal in certain parts of the world, in certain states, now they can do research on it.
Right.
And so they're starting to find out a lot, and there's a lot there. Yeah.
So the benefits of CBD, just through the testing, I mean, you hear a lot about everybody saying that the anxiety and depression relief, and then obviously the relief with inflammation. Right. Those seem to be like the two major ones that I'm aware of. Sure. But I actually learned recently about this one that I hadn't considered before, but it was from the medical community. This guy named Dr. John Ebert was talking about it on the Mayo Clinic podcast. Mm-hmm. And he's an addiction medicine specialist, and he's saying that, they can now hopefully use it to treat the withdrawal from other medications, and hopefully really stave off a lot of this stuff that we're seeing with the opioid epidemic.
Right.
Opioid epidemic,
For sure.
Yeah.
And you figure out what each person's dose is, and it can be very useful.
Yeah.
In treating addiction, for sure.
That's one thing I don't know about is
there's crazy things.
Dosage. Is it
diabetics. Have you heard that one?
Well, I've heard the testing on diabetes and on cancer and all this stuff, that they're getting a lot of good response. Well, yeah, and I mean, I've heard it even helps with acne.
Right, acne.
Insomnia, and these things that might seem minuscule to some people, but if you're living with this kind of stuff, or if you have problems with these kinds of things, then how could you deny the fact that there's this relief out there that should not be scrutinized or looked at as I guess demonized, right?
It really has been, and it's been literally used for thousands of years,
Right.
Thousands of years. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And you can see studies from other parts of the world, even though we can't do them here in America. That doesn't mean they're not going on,
Right.
And so there is hardcore scientific proof of this. So.
Yeah.
And change is coming. It's pretty exciting to see it happening.
Within the medical science, I mean, is it still too new to know about all of the side effects that could potentially exist, or is it? Like you said, we've been knowing all about the plant itself and where it comes from for thousands of years, and it's been used for. And I mean, we all know this famous statistic of the death toll being 0, which is pretty much.
But it really
the
pretty
big
much
signifier.
is.
Oh no, it absolutely is.
But are there learning
outside
things?
of
Yes.
that? Yeah.
But these scientific research things, and they have 200 people in their study, and one of them had a heart attack. Could it be correlated? So it's like they have to list it
right.
as a maybe
right.
thing.
No. See, that's way different. That's way different because like the science is in on tobacco-related fatalities, or nicotine-related fatalities, I should say. We know that is specifically what it is that's killing or causing cancer.
Sure. Yeah, studies show it.
Right.
Studies don't show this stuff.
Right, and that's the thing is that but you'd think that
if
we were all involved with this substance for thousands of years, and we've known about it for thousands of years, it's been amongst us. Well, we would know the science that it's killing people, right?
Right.
It stands to reason.
Safe to say it's not killing people.
Right. I mean, side effects wise, though, and
very minimal. You're gonna sleep well. Now, so maybe if you got a lot to do that day, maybe but there's a certain dose. A small bit's gonna help.
So I was gonna. How does the dosage work? Because
so it's different for different people. I know one lady that takes 6 milligrams a day. That would be like one little drop.
Okay.
Tiny. Okay. And then I know someone else that her daily dose is almost 1,000 milligrams.
I mean, is that like a bottle, or what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you thought about it in oil drops, it would be like a bottle. So, there's probably a better way for her to consume.
So it's just better. It's just based on individual need.
To meet her needs. They're both treating anxiety.
Sure.
And for one of them, just a small little dose in the morning. That's all she needs.
Sure.
She is good. The other one, if she has 1,000, she's good.
That's awesome.
But still, when you think about
whatever you need to do,
that would
right?
cost whatever you need to do, and compared to medicine and whatnot,
I mean, if we're talking about pain relief, I'm not somebody who experiences any physical chronic pain on any regular basis, but I do experience a lot of anxiety in my normal life, and I can absolutely tell you that I have seen benefits from this, and especially as somebody who works out and is involved in hypercardio activity, road cycling and running and stuff like that. It absolutely helps with inflammation. There's no, I will never be convinced that this is like a placebo effect, or that it's, it's absolutely, I've seen it firsthand, and so many people I know, the boon is kind of out of control these days, right? It's sort of like the next, wave, but it's seemingly like understood why it's coming, because it's helping a lot of people with a lot of different things. It's affordable. It's currently mostly legal. Is there any place in America right now where it's not legal?
So there was a farm bill passed in 2014 that says that hemp-derived CBD, is legal in all 50 states because that has 0.0 THC. Now, CBD can be derived from the cannabis plant, and so it has smaller amounts of it there. So that is only legal in certain states.
Right.
So like in Texas right now, even the marijuana that's legal for patients with irretractable epilepsy, it's only available in an oil form, and it is a very low THC mixture with a very high CBD mixture. But for that particular patient, that's what works. Or type of.
So in that case, prescription would probably be necessary, correct?
You could not get that in Texas without a prescription.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can buy the hemp
CBD
derived.
only. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. No THC. So that's kind
Are the strengths the same, or would you still take the same dosage of?
Yeah, I was in California recently, and so I really looked to see what they've got available there, because theirs are going to be a lot of combos, because it's legal both medically and recreationally.
Right.
And so sometimes they were 50-50. They'd have 100 if a bar of chocolate or a jar of whatever would have 100 milligrams of THC and 100 milligrams of CBD. Then there'd be the same product offered with a very high amount of CBD, maybe 300 CBD and just 30 THC.
Okay.
So the THC does enhance the effects of the CBD. So this is why we need it to become legal in Texas.
Right. Okay.
Because as awesome as CBD is, and it is very, very awesome.
It works even better in
It
conjunction.
works even better with a little bit of THC. And you don't need enough that you're just a zombie.
Right.
But you need a little bit in there. And a lot of people who use those forms of it, say they don't feel any psychoactive effects at all. But then there'll some people that say, oh no, I feel that. So it really depends on the person and their sensitivity to THC.
I was going to say every person's going to be different
And
with
every
the way they
person's going
experience
to
anything.
have different sensitivity to CBD as well.
Yeah.
And that's why one person needs 6 and one person needs 1,000.
Right.
And it's okay. It's not something you can overdose.
Right, but I mean, everybody has different, effect, feels different effects when they take caffeine as well.
Yeah.
So it's just
or a Benadryl.
exactly. It's
right?
all different. It's all different.
Benadryl can put a 300-pound man on the floor, or do nothing to someone else.
Right. Exactly. I understand. It's crazy. So, but the business, the industry itself is exploding. And you start Rude Girl.
Right. Yeah. So, a few years ago, my son told me, we're sitting at dinner and the place rat's next door to like a head shop, vape shop, whatever, that kind of thing. And I don't know, he's, have you tried CBDs? And I'm like, what do you mean? I kind of knew what it was, but I was like, you gonna help me out? What's happening here? And no, the shop next door will sell CBDs. It's legal. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I start Googling it. I'm like, oh crap. A year ago, this farm bill was passed, and he's like, no, it's all over the place. I'm like, are you kidding me? So that was, I'm like, okay, we're going to have to go next door and check this out. And so that kind of sparked my interest. I had a good friend with a chocolate business, and I always loved her chocolates, and I was talking, and I'm like, how can I put these CBDs in the chocolates? Because the oils, and they're not the greatest tasting.
I was going to say it's probably got to affect the flavor, right?
Yeah. So I started making medicated CBD chocolates for myself.
Figured out the formula.
Yeah, and it's really not too difficult. It's a lot of time and a lot of effort, So it would be a lot of work to do for yourself. But I started sharing it with friends and telling people about it, and a few people started asking me about it, and then I'm like, maybe I could.
So what was the product that you made? What was the first thing you made? It's
just chocolates, so it's dark chocolates with cacao butter, and then there's a local store here that sells CBD concentrates, kind of like a dab wax kind of thing.
Okay.
It looks like. And so you melt that down in with the cacao butter, and then you blend it in. The secret is kind of in the machinery. It's not really something you could do too easily on your stovetop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my
Industrial
buddy Katie,
process.
my buddy Katie's got this giant industrial chocolate machine that she has let me borrow, and that makes it not too bad, So
that's awesome.
I love making it, and just like, how do you make the business grow?
That's what I was going to say. So you had this idea a few years ago, or you tried it for the first time?
I was making it for myself for a while.
Oh, okay.
And it's cool because you could get CBDs. It hasn't always been, this way. I guess I should probably tell you my story a little bit.
Yeah. What's going on?
So I have ulcerative colitis.
Yes.
So, and I don't know if you won't get too graphically into it, but I've been sick since 1992, and I've tried traditional Western medicine. No, bad stuff. Gives you one problem from that problem, doesn't even really fix that problem, gives you more problems.
Right.
Yeah, so no. So in 2004, I said kind of no to Western medicine at that point.
Just pills or hospital stuff too and things like that?
Pretty much everything. Like, I had gone in for a colonoscopy 12 years in a row. Every year I went in for my test. And every year I'm going through, danger. Like, things can happen. I don't mean to put people off a colonoscopy or anything, but, if something gets punctured, suddenly you're in a very bad situation, And, you know, they just came back and told me the same thing every time. You have ulcerative colitis. You have ulcerative colitis. You have ulcerative colitis. And I'm going through this every year for you to retell me the same thing. It's not going away. We all know this.
Right.
You know, you're giving me horrible
No matter
medicines.
what they're giving you.
They're not making me better.
Sure.
I can tell you from how I'm feeling, they're not making me better. Why do we need to go have a look?
Right.
You know? So I quit all the Western medicine stuff. I tried marijuana. You know? And that, you know, made a big difference. That allowed me to take that Western medicine out of my life.
Yeah.
And then I added some acupuncture to the situation. And I can't speak highly enough of that as well. But, you know, back in the early 2000s, can't get a hold of CBD.
Yeah, nobody knew it was.
I don't know if you could in California at the time, but you
Right.
certainly couldn't here. You
Sure.
know? So, you know, it goes back a long time for me, you know.
Yeah.
And
Now, is this chronic pain that you're kind of doing?
This is chronic pain. I'm up multiple times every night.
Right.
You know, if I'm well, I'm probably going to the bathroom half a dozen times a day. If I'm not well, I'm going 30 plus times a day,
Right.
day and night.
Gotcha.
Most of
Gotcha.
the night, you know. So it's you know, so it allowed me to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine how I would get through nights.
Right.
You know, like, so when my son tells me about CBD, and I'm like, so I can go to the store and buy this, you know? So I was a bit like, I don't know about that, you know, let's go see.
Right, exactly, of course.
Like, come on.
Of course.
Come on, right?
Yeah, no, I understand.
And then
You've got to be skeptical. Nothing else that the doctors did would work.
And then all you got, they
this
got one of
point.
these big plume things, you know, so I make fun of everybody, right? For the big plume smoking
Right.
clouds of smoke,
I understand.
you know? But that's all they got there.
That's
so
not
that's
you.
what I've
That's
gotta
not your
buy.
life.
That's not me.
Yeah.
So I got to go buy one of these big plume making machines with the CBD oil. And I was like, holy cow. You know?
How long did it take you before you were like, holy cow?
Well, with something like vaping it, you're going to get almost immediate relief. So, I mean, you could feel it. I could feel it sort of warming my stomach. Like you feel it go to wherever it needs to be, you know? I feel like if I was using it for a headache, I would, you know, kind of feel it go there. Like your body has this system called the endocannabinoid system. I hope I'm saying that right. Have you heard of this?
I have.
Okay. You know, most people haven't. You know, you've got to be interested in this. Most doctors haven't.
Yeah.
Doctors of medicine in the Western world have not heard about a system in our body, which is astounding, you know. And I know, you know, we've only known about it for 20 years or so, but I mean, still, come on. There's doctors that graduated 5 years ago that haven't heard of it, and that's disgraceful. So they're starting to add it to medical school. They're starting to have courses in this now. So that's great because our future doctors are going to know about this. But the ones that we're going to see right now, they don't know about this. It's like trying to convince your grandma to try CBDs.
Right.
You know, trying to tell you, you know, like you just like it, you know. But this is a system in our body, and we have receptors everywhere. You know, everywhere. And so there's the CBD1 and the CBD2, and some of them work for inflammation, and some of them work for, you know, different things. So you know. I don't remember why I'm talking about this, but
No, I'm right there with you though, because I do understand. I do know where.
You know, it's proven that it works. You know, like if you're having inflammation in your stomach, the CBD receptors are gonna grab onto that CBD and put it to work. You know, why would you take Advil when you can use CBD? You know,
Right. It's pretty clear to me, but to a lot of people, like you said, like my grandmother, it's like there's no convincing about that. But I just you know, I've tried explaining. It's first off, it's legal. You know,
right?
It's like that's the.
But they're like, oh, even if
legal,
the marijuana was legal, we wouldn't be doing that. You know, right? I mean.
Oh well, sure, no, definitely.
Right,
not.
grandma
Definitely
be the
not.
same.
Definitely not.
Even
No. Well, I have a different kind of grandmother. She's never had a drop of alcohol in her life. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
It's like, you know.
I don't know if you're going to convince that girl.
Exactly. She can't be convinced of many things, and especially now she's done being convinced. But
what if it was like a supplement?
well, that's the way I tried explaining it to her because because of my inflammation, she thought it was like, is this what you're I was like, it's like I'm taking protein, I'm taking creatine, I've got whatever in my pre-workout, post-work, all that kind of
You're just
stuff.
dropping it in a shake kind of thing?
No. I mean, if I'm honest, I've gotten some of your Rude Girl treats, and yeah, that I've in the vape, of course. That's, I think, how everybody has to start with that, because that's how you used to be able to get it. Now the edibles market is just now coming to fruition, especially in these kinds of states where, that aren't California or Colorado or Washington State. So it's that kind of thing. But as far as my own personal experiences, again, dealing with my parents and everything, like, they're very understanding, but Grandma doesn't want to hear about this kind of thing, and it's just like, okay, whatever. But
so can Grandma get to the point that she can be okay with you?
oh, she's more than fine with me doing it. And she
she
recognizes that it's legal, and she's just more like, okay, and it's just one of these be careful kind of things.
Right.
She just doesn't know. She doesn't know, She doesn't know.
Okay.
But, if I'm honest, she's happy that I quit smoking cigarettes. That's, which was like a better part of a decade ago. So that's a good thing. Rude Girl treats.
Right.
Okay. So you start the company. You've legitimized the company.
Right.
Now you're selling them. What do they cost? Where can people get them?
So right now in Dallas, it's sort of person-to-person delivery. And so people can pick up, or I can deliver to them, as long as we're not too crazy far out. I want to grow it from there. I'm going to, conventions and expos and stuff that are in town.
Sure.
At this point, I'm at a stage of meeting clients and meeting people, and, first hit's free if you like.
Right, of course.
Just handing out samples.
I like it.
I'm handing out more than I'm selling right now, because that's what you got to do to get a business started,
right.
And so that's kind of where I'm focused things right now. I'm looking at, commercial kitchen space.
Yeah,
because
right.
there's only so long I can keep going in the space I have now.
Understood.
And so that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a lot to consider where to take the business. But I'm enjoying kind of figuring it out and taking my time. But then on the same time, I know it's an exploding, business.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to rest on your laurels,
and
really.
It's like, sit and wait,
it's been like you've had this idea now for some time, and now that it's like building up, it's like you don't want to sit back and as long as the industry's blown up, then you're you got to be blown up with it, right?
Right. So it's just managing all that and figuring out how to do it all. So
are you doing it by yourself?
Well, with my husband's help,
Sure.
on the marketing side of things, and yeah.
But I mean, it's all in your head, basically. It's all.
I guess so. Yeah, it's figuring out how to sell. It's difficult. Facebook's not your friend, in case you didn't know.
How so? What do you mean by that?
Facebook considers it, a drug product.
Oh, right.
I mean, they're like your grandma.
Yeah.
Okay, Facebook is your grandma, and so the moment I try to boost a post, and the word CBD is in it, or even if it isn't, and they go to my website and see it, then they're like,
really?
Oh, no.
It's okay. Yeah. Is that extreme?
Shut you down, like, no. And I've had nice conversations.
That seems strange, though.
I've emailed.
That seems strange.
A conversation. I'm like, this doesn't.
It feels like that policy's going to end up changing. That doesn't seem like.
I'm like, I've read your terms and conditions, and I am in the right, and you're in the wrong. And
really?
He's like, yeah, but.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, but we're Facebook, so.
Right. We're not in charge. I'm not in charge. It just.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to take any chance, and it's ridiculous.
That is kind of ridiculous. I didn't realize that was the case, but now that you're saying it, kind of.
Yeah. So it's like I can have a Facebook page, I can have groups, I can post whatever I want, but can I boost anything? Nothing. I can't even boost the word, I love dogs. They won't let me do that.
Is this strictly Facebook, or are you having other issues on other social?
Facebook's, the most difficult one, and I guess I figured, so many people get businesses started that way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what would they have a problem with?
And, with other business ventures I've been involved in, you can boost posts and this, that, and the other, and, I was just like, it's no brainer, right? Well, doesn't work.
That's interesting. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but
no, and it's going to change, but it's going to take probably a federal something or other for that to change, because Facebook's everywhere, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that.
If they would keep it separate, so you had your THC and your CBD and never put them together.
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. Is that what they're trying to do? Is like associate them?
Because they, it's like, well, if instead of having, let's say a bar of chocolate that's got both in it, if you had 2 bars of chocolate, right? And if you need both, you have some of both. then CBD can be in a different category, but it gets lumped together because it's lumped together in recreational states and that
Right.
sort of thing.
Okay, I get you.
And it's just
I mean, I get that sort of makes sense for them,
minimal
but
sense. Yeah.
you know,
It's just covering their ass.
yeah, it's a reach,
And I get it. As a business owner, I get that.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And Facebook's not going to mess around, so
No.
whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's awesome that you've done this, and I think that it's amazing to watch this become a thing, this industry blow up, and you right there with it. So I wish you the best of luck
Thank
in the
you
future.
so much. All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Take care. Thanks, guys.
This podcast was produced by Douglas McNamara. Copyright 2018, all rights reserved.